speed, which definitely works. In Mount Cornet, we run into Cyrus and, hey man, let's party! Ugh, f*** off, not this shit again. We quickly arrive in Hardhome City, and because Fantina is scared to battle us right now, we just pick up the shell bell and also encounter this kid who's complaining that his sisters get all the attention and no one notices him. I see you, little guy. I may not like you, but you are seen. Heading into Amity Square, I'm like, yay, our Pokemon can follow us now. But apparently Jirachi isn't classified as being cute. This is like a widely known top-tier cute Pokemon. Okay, sure, open its third eye and it's terrifying and kills you, but I mean, come on. If you're playing your own run, it's also helpful to know that you can get the Volt Switch TM here, so it's worth grabbing. In the end, I decide to rebel and have Jirachi walk with us and... Hey, why are you looking at me like that? Oh!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Upon entry into the contest hall, this random girl is like, oh, my hero! And then our very own mom is like, oh, hello, Sylph. Barry interrupts our exit at the city with a battle challenge, and although I accidentally led with Monger, our pivoting game is surprisingly strong at this point as Jarvis handles Starly with ease, a switch back into Monger takes care of his Ponyta, a switch into Pepper handles Grotle quite handily, and finally his Weasel is taken out by Jarvis as well. I have no doubt that Barry will become a lot tougher, but for now we're smooth sailing. After picking up strength from the lovely old ladies at the Lost Tower, we can head to the Solaceon Ruins, which have two key items for us in the bottom room. The Mind Plate and the Odd Incense, which both boost the power of psychic moves by 10%, and given that we have Everheart and Whiplash, I'm glad that we get two. Normally I'm like, what the hell is the point of this? Alright, this is gonna seem random, but I was just beginning a battle with this girl and what the hell is that face? Ugh, like seriously, why? Just why? On Route 215, we can pick up the Fist Plate, which I have a very funny feeling is going to be useful later on. Upon arrival in Veilstone City, we can pick up the Metronome item, thanks random person with a giraffe rig, and we can also grab some Nasty Plot TMs from this legend. In the department store, I make sure to pick up the usual Reflect and Light Screen TMs, but also some amazing TMs like Thunderbolt for Jarvis and Psychic for Everheart and Whiplash. Now, we have a bit of a dilemma here, as both of the next two gyms have a level cap of 30, meaning whichever one we do first will have to roll in a bit under-leveled. Ultimately, I decide that the Pastoria gym will be a bit more manageable for us, so I head there first. It's a water gym, and obviously Jarvis is incredible for it, being able to slam through most of the trainers. At one point, there was a trainer with a Gyarados though, and because Patriot was so low leveled compared to the rest of our team and has Sturdy, I was like, I'll just switch him in for a second and get him out for extra XP, but he uses Whirlpool, which traps us in. Oh no. Amazingly though, he uses Substitute and Scary Face in the process, meaning we got to switch at the last moment on just 10 HP. Yikes, that was close. During the process, Jarvis hits level 30 and evolves into Magneton, which should be a great help for Wake himself. Before the gym battle, I also teach Monger Grass Knot for a particular reason, and it looks like we're set to go. Jarvis, are we ready, buddy? It's time for Gym Leader Wake, and jeez, I just noticed how large of a man he is. He begins the battle with a Gyarados, so Jarvis is a perfect lead as he's unaffected by Intimidate and can one-hit KO him with Thunderbolt after he just landed a Crunch. He next sends in Quagsire, and this is the exact reason I taught Grass Knot to Monger, as it's an instant 4x super effective one-hit KO. Floatzel is his final Pokemon, and a switch back into Jarvis gets him hit below half with Bite, but thankfully our Citrus Berry brings us back up above half, as Brine doubles in power if the opponent is below half health, so that was actually surprisingly close as we take him out with Thunderbolt with 18 HP left. 3 badges. I take the time to explore the Route 212 area, which nets us a Bug Buzz TM, just what we've been waiting for Pepper, and we can also grab the Soothe Bell from the Pokemon Mansion, which I have a feeling will be useful for later. We're running out of room for this level cap, so it's time to take on the Veilstone City Gym. It's a fighting type gym, so Whiplash does an amazing job being fairly defensive even though he's unevolved, and being able to put some good damage down with Mind Plate boosted Psychic too. The 4th gym leader is Maylene, and right before the battle I was all confident but then realized something about her team. Her Meditite also has Flash. I was thinking just going in and Quiver Dancing with Pepper and then using Psychic would be good, but I think we're gonna have to get a bit more creative. Low accuracy would be dangerous, and we'd need a lot of Quiver Dances to outspeed her Lucario. She leads with Meditite, and I send out Jarvis. It looks really dangerous with her having Drain Punch, I know, but I use Thunder Wave to paralyze it before it uses Light Screen. I then switch into Monger as Meditite uses Bulk Up. Here, I use Charm to lower her attack, and she gets another Bulk Up off, and then another Charm before she hits us with Drain Punch, but with lowered attack, it's not doing much. Here I switch into Whiplash and I set up Reflect as she remains paralyzed. With Reflect up, her paralyzed, and her attack lowered a bit, I can now switch into Pepper and start quiver dancing. She did hit us with Flash though, and got up light screen again, but I used Protect to stall it out too. We miss our first Psychic though and get hit by Drain Punch to 2/3, and then our next Bug Buzz hits and takes her out. In comes Machoke, which is an instant one-hit KO with Psychic. Her final Pokemon is her beastly EV-trained Adamant Lucario with a big root item, and it turns out we still don't outspeed as she hits us hard down to 9 HP with Drain Punch before our berry, and then Psychic doesn't even do half. Uh-oh, this is not good. I immediately switch into Whiplash, who gets hit to below half, but our berry brings us up above so we can take another on 15 HP and get that Reflect up. Whew. With that up, I can now switch back into Monger and get 2 charms off to lower its attack with just 11 HP left. Then I switch into Jarvis to hit her with Thunderbolts even though she healed up a couple times, and we lived one final Drain Punch on 4 HP before being able to KO. Man oh man, that was terrifying. Our entire team was destroyed to low health from that, but we made it through deathless. While leaving the gym, Dawn is panicking about Team Galactic attacking her, and I'm like, oh my god, we've got to save her. But Shieldon is just like, I operate at my own pace. Do not disturb me, mortal. Up ahead, we find this woman's missing Sweet Key, and she invites us in for some reason. Immediately after, this grunt absolutely smashes into Shieldon with the power of 1,000 suns.
Whoa! Hey, I'm walking here. I'm really excited to...
Listen to me. We don't talk like that. We don't say things like that. You understand?
We then mace the Psyduck in our way, thanks Cynthia, and on the way to Celestic Town, Patriot ends up evolving into a beastly Bastiodon. Man oh man, look at how slow he walks. This is hilarious. Okay, wait, what? How is this? That's not even how physics works. Patriot, you absolute deity. Whiplash doesn't want to be left behind, so he also evolves into a Bronzong, which should be quite helpful with the Levitate ability. Jarvis also learns the Flash Cannon move, finally giving us a reliable Steel-type move since we haven't really had one yet. After picking up some Surf TMs from Cynthia's grandma and teaching one to Monger, we can actually do something really cool. There's an early part of Mount Coronet available really early in game, which means we can take Jarvis there, and Magneton actually evolves if leveled up here. So now we have a beautiful Magnezone on the team. Amazing. A bit more grinding later, and it's time for the Hardhome Gym. Whiplash handles the Ghastly line really well, and Patriot handles the Drifloon line, so I'm happy we got those evolutions. Just before the gym leader, Monger evolves right at the level cap into Empoleon, rounding out our team evolutions for the time being, although it did accidentally overlevel to 37, so we won't be able to use it until we get the badge. It's time for the 5th gym leader, Fantina, a Ghost-type trainer. She leads with Drifblim, and I lead with Jarvis. Her Drifblim is really designed to take on physical attackers with Will-O-Wisp, Strength Sap, and Aftermath, but Jarvis tanks Hex quite easily and instantly KOs her with Thunderbolt. Next up is our Gengar, which outspeeds and confuses us right off the bat, and we hit ourselves. We get brought below half with Dazzling Gleam, but then our Thunderbolt ravages Gengar in one hit. Magnezone's got some power. Her final Pokemon is Miss Magius, and it really has no coverage against us at all. Although Phantom Force brings us low, Thunderbolt brings her below half, but also gets the Paralysis. Even though we'd outspeed now, we're still confused, so I switch into Patriot, who tanks Phantom Force, and Rock Tomb lowers her speed, so combined with Paralysis, we quickly outspeed her and take her out in a few attacks after she Hyper Potioned twice. On the way to Canalave, we had a really funny situation where this guy whirlwinded Whiplash out and brought in Magnezone against a Staraptor.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Above Jubilife City, we can pick up the Sea Incense to help Monger's water moves, and then we arrive in Cantalave City. Here we have another battle against Larry, and his team has gotten quite strong at this point. His Staravia is easy pickings with Thunderbolt, but then he sends in Heracross. Now this thing would absolutely ravage our team, but thankfully Whiplash is neutral to fighting and tanks Brick Break well. He does have Thief though, which is super effective, brings us below half, and takes our Mind Plate, but Whiplash still has enough power with Psychic to KO. Buizel is then handled by a switch back into Jarvis, Ponyta by a Surf from Monger, and Groudon is again hard countered by Pepper. Gradually becoming tougher though, that's for sure. With that, we can head to a place that is essentially just an item bonanza for us, Iron Island, which was basically designed to help out Steel teams, as you might imagine. Throughout the place, we find the Iron Tail TM, the Iron Ball item, the Magnet to boost Electric type moves even, and the Iron Plate to power up Steel moves. At the end of helping Riley out, he gives us an egg which actually counts as our next encounter, except he kinda like disappeared. If you've been around on Twitter, you know this game is riddled with glitches, but this is one that I hadn't seen yet. Where did he go? The Canalave Gym is a Steel-type gym, but a lot of the trainers have part Ground-type Pokemon, so Monger clears a lot of it by himself. But there's a problem. Halfway through, and all of our Pokemon have reached the level cap. Now, when we did our water run, we had like 10 encounters, but I knew this would eventually happen since up to this point we've only had 5 or 6. But this is why we kept Everheart as a good luck charm, as it can single-handedly save the run by wiping through the rest of the gym trainers, even smashing Steel types with resisted Psychic. Amazing stuff, and so fun to use something like a Jirachi during the main playthrough. This leads us to Gym Leader Byron, who I'm feeling relatively okay about, although he uses the same type as us. He starts with a Bronzor, and I lead with Monger. Sea Incense boosted Surf does about 3/4, and then he uses Trick Room. Now he outspeeds, and I thought he'd go for Confuse Ray, but instead he used Sandstorm, so another Surf takes him down. In comes his Steelix next, and with Trick Room it actually outspeeds us, and I thought Monger was bulky enough to live it, and we do, just barely, on 12 HP, so we can take him to Sturdy. Man, that Earthquake was not only stab and super effective, but also boosted by Soft Sand, a plus attack nature, and 100 attack EVs, so I may have underestimated it. Here I switch into Whiplash with Levitate, and he uses a full restore. I set up Reflect after we get hit by Thunderfang, and Trick Room ends. I sent in Pepper since she's not weak to ground, but we got paralyzed right off the bat by Thunderfang, so that didn't work out too well, and I switched back into Whiplash, who's the only one who seems to be able to handle this Steelix. So it's a 4-minute long grind, but eventually with the help of Reflect, we're able to take him down with Psychic, being brought to about half in the process. His final Pokemon is Bastiodon, and since he can't hurt us a whole lot, I stay in and go for a couple of Psychics, followed by a Reflect before we're brought to 22 HP. From there, I switch in Jarvis for the predicted Thunderbolt, and then Flash Cannon takes him down in 3 hits from there since he has no ground coverage. Much crazier than I expected, but we got through it. With our 6th badge in hand and some Flash Cannon TMs for winning, I'm beginning to get those crazy ideas again about a deathless run. Let's see what happens. Before anything though, we need to get out of this terrible outfit. I want to die in this thing, so I activate my mystery gift to receive the Platinum outfit, which we can change into at the Veilstone clothing store. Much better. At Lake Verity, we face Commander Mars, and I've gotta say, Whiplash is having his time, as he completely walls everything she has. Quite an amazing Team Galactic counter, I'll say that much. In Mount Coronet, we can pick up 2 great items, the Light Clay to extend the duration of Reflect and Light Screen, as well as the Soft Sand to power up ground moves. After making it through the treacherous snow routes of Route 216 and 217, we arrive in the beautiful Snow Point City. The Snow Point Gym is an Ice-type gym, and interestingly enough, there's actually a bit of a glitch you can do here where you just take this path and keep bumping into the ramp at a certain angle, and it takes you straight to Candace without... Excuse me, sir, what did you say the gym leader's name was? Oh, wait, hi, it's Candace D. Never again. This meme format is over. But yeah, without facing any of the trainers or doing the puzzle or anything. But since our rules don't allow any glitches or exploits technically, I went and did this stupid puzzle nonetheless. Still useful though, especially if you're feeling over-leveled. Now I was thinking about Candace's battle for a long time, and eventually realized something. Her Snover has 0 coverage against Pepper, so... That's right, it's time for some Quiver Dancing. I get 3 off before obliterating it with super effective Bug Buzz. Her Sneasel comes out next though, and according to my calcs, it should still outspeed us, and I know this thing is likely to use Dig against us in terms of its coverage, so I go for another, and she does, so the hail hits us below half to activate our Citrus Berry, then I can use Protect while the Sneasel's underground to then take it down with Bug Buzz. Unreal. From there, both her Medicham and Abomasnow are 1-hit KOs with the same move. Now that's what I like to see. 7th badge acquired. Knowing what lies ahead, I spend some time working on our egg, and eventually it hatches to give us none other than a Riolu, which I nicknamed Fury. Fury has a gentle nature plus special defense and minus defense, which is meh. For that extra fighting coverage, I'm going to replace Everheart for now. I give Fury the Soothe Bell to raise its friendship faster since that's how it evolves, and also get it a massage in Veilstone for the same effect. After taking on the Galactic HQ, we take on Cyrus, and why does his overworld model look like this, while his in-battle model looks like this? The discrepancy between the two is just madness. Anyway, Jarvis has super effective coverage against his entire team, so that's the Pixies freed. On our way to the summit of Mount Coronet, we pick up the Rock Slide TM, and Fury ends up evolving into a Lucario much earlier than I had expected, but I'm definitely not complaining. At the summit, Cyrus summons the almighty legendary Pokemon, Palkia, who seems to be very unhappy, might I add. The commanders then challenge us and Barry to a double battle, and since we've got Monger, we can just attach the metronome and use Surf to destroy everything on the field, including Barry's Pokemon, with an increasingly powerful attack each turn. Their Bronzor also didn't use Light Screen this time, so that made it even easier than last time. It's time for the final battle against the galactic boss, Cyrus. He leads with a Honchkrow, and I send out Monger. I decide to just use Charm on him while he uses Defog, and then switch into Jarvis. We actually outspeed and then smash him with Thunderbolt for the KO, and in comes Gyarados. Now this is why I switched in Jarvis the way that I did. Gyarados will outspeed us and has 4 times super effective Earthquake, but we have Sturdy, so we survived on 1 HP and slam him with a 4 times super effective Stab Thunderbolt, but his Wakan Berry activates and just barely lets him survive in the red. I'm forced to switch now, so I go into Whiplash to avoid the Earthquake, and Whiplash is able to KO him in a few Psychics after he heals and hits us hard with Crunch. In comes Weavile next, and it just uses Fling, and Gyro Ball just barely doesn't KO. He hits us once more to 32 HP, and another takes him down. His final Pokemon is Crobat, so I switch in Patriot, who eats up everything he throws at us as Rock Tomb KOs in a couple of hits. A little messy, but I think we managed that well. Palkia is all that's left up here, and... oh, what's that? I think he's saying he wants to be trapped in a tiny ball for the rest of eternity. Here you go, little fella. Wanting to match the stylishness of our outfit, I upgrade our Pokeball stickers, and I must say they're looking quite fancy now. We arrive in Sunny Shore City, one of my favorites, and of course Flint has to come and scare us before we head to the lighthouse. Volkner says, "I'm gonna unleash everything in my arsenal on you." Okay, I might have misread that a little bit. The Sunny Shore Gym is upon us, and Magnezone is able to tank through it pretty well with the help of his typing and Tri-Attack, and Whiplash helped a lot too. Unfortunately, our team does become over-leveled though, so it's time for Everheart to save the day once again, proving to be a massive problem for the trainers. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay, I'll tell him. Guys, for Everheart's contributions to the run, he says all he wants in return is for you guys to follow me on Twitter, so the link is down below. A pretty fair request, I'd say. It's time for the 8th and final gym leader, Volkner the Electric Trainer. He leads with a Raichu, and I send out Jarvis. Surf is the best he's got against us, but he ends up Volt Switching on the second turn into Ambipom, who tanks the second Tri-Attack. He then hits us with Fake Out, followed by a double hit, which brings us to 29 HP before another takes him out. Raichu comes out again, so I'm forced to switch, so I send in Whiplash, who tanks Surf, followed by Volt Switch to about half, and then we hit Octillery with Psychic for a bit less than half, but we get the special defense drop, and he just uses Focus Energy, so another KOs him. Raichu comes in and Volt Switches again, and Luxray tanks Psychic with over half. Here I switch into Patriot, who tanks Crunch and then Iron Tail before hitting him with Rock Tomb, but his Citrus Berry activates. He misses his next Iron Tail though, we hit him again, then his Thunderfang paralyzes us, but we make it through to KO him. His final Pokemon is a stupid Raichu, so I send in Monger to tank the Surf, survive Volt Switch on 37 HP, and then smash him with Surf for the win. All 8 badges, let's go. A long trek through Victory Road brings us to the Pokemon League, and, well, apparently there's a 1% chance to find Steelix in here, which we couldn't get at Iron Island since Riolu was technically our encounter there, but yeah, we've already got a full team. Don't get me wrong, I love Steelix as much as the next guy, but maybe on another run. Right before the league, we have a final battle with Barry, who has become ridiculously powerful with EV-trained Pokemon with competitive sets and items, so this should be crazy. He leads with a Staraptor, and I send out Whiplash this time since he now has close combat of all things. He uses Sunny Day as I go for Psychic to bring him low. He then uses U-Turn though and sends out Torterra as I get the 8-turn Reflect Up with the Light Clay item now. He uses Stealth Rock and Psychic does very little, and he has leftovers. Yikes. I have no choice though, so I hit him again, but then he uses Roar. He brings out Pepper though, which is the best thing possible for us as super effective Bug Buzz takes him down. Rapidash comes out next, thankfully after the sun went down, so I switch into Monger, who tanks 2 Flame Wheels before Surf wrecks him. He sends out Staraptor next, and I switch Whiplash back in, predicting close combat, but he used Sunny Day instead. I go for Psychic, but he U-turns into Snorlax, which has Crunch. I use Reflect again, and he uses Yawn on Whiplash. Eventually, I switch into Fury, who tanks Resisted Crunch, but our defense gets dropped, but amazingly, Aurasphere does the job from about half. Staraptor comes in, and I switch in Pepper, but the damn thing goes for Sunny Day again, but then hits us with close combat, but Pepper actually eats it up entirely and destroys it with a Flash Cannon. Up next is Floatzel, which has no coverage against us, and 1 Bug Buzz does it in. His final Pokemon is Heracross, which thankfully doesn't have a fighting move, but he gets the flinch on Rock Slide and a Reflect goes down. Thankfully, without a fighting move, he can't do much on Patriot, so Rock Tomb finishes him off. A bit of a complicated battle and could have gone south, but we made it to the league. While grinding up, fulfilling the rest of our EVs, and upgrading our movesets and items, I gave our Pokemon a bunch of bitter herbs to fix that stupid affection mechanic that these games have that give your Pokemon extra crits and allow them to survive when they shouldn't and whatnot. With that said, it's time for the EV Train Fully Competitive Elite Four. The first Elite Four member is Aaron, the Bug Trainer, and he gave us a hell of a time with his Drapion last time, and we could use Empoleon with Drill Peck, but we don't have an Intimidate Gyarados to switch into Heracross this time, so after thinking about it for a long while, I realized our best option was Pepper, as his lead, a Dustox, has no coverage against us, so we can set up a ton of Quiver Dances while stalling out Light Screen, and then sweep his entire team with Psychic and Flash Cannon. God, that feels good, as his Heracross and Drapion could have destroyed us. The second Elite Four member is Bertha, the Ground-type trainer. Given that we're a Steel-type team, her team is terrifying for us, but I at least know what we're doing for our lead. She leads Quagsire, and I lead Monger, who of course has 4x super effective Grass Knot, which is a one-hit KO. She sends out Golem next, which is EV trained in speed and attack with Sturdy, so I switch into Whiplash, who's immune to Earthquake, hit it with a Psychic since the most it can do to us is Stone Edge, and it does over half. I then use Reflect with Light Clay, and then take it down with another attack. Sudowoodo comes out next, and I figure she'll try and Sucker Punch, so I switch into Fury, but she actually went for Low Kick, which thankfully only did about half on the switch since Fury is pretty light. Then Aura Sphere pulverizes it. Whiscash comes out next, which does have Bulldoze, so I try to pull off the strategy I was hoping for. I switch into Whiplash, but she went for Hydro Pump instead. Damn, I was not expecting that. I switch into Monger here, knowing we've locked it into Hydro Pump, and she actually misses, and Grass Knot does only half since it has a Rindo Berry to lower the power of grass moves. We get hit by Bulldoze and have our speed lowered, and then another takes her down after we got hit by Hydro Pump. Her final Pokemon is Hippowdon, and I know it will outspeed after our speed was dropped by Bulldoze, so I switch into Whiplash for immunity and to bait the crunch so I can switch into Monger again, now with our speed restored, and take it out with one Surf. Amazing. The third Elite Four member is Flint, the Fire Trainer, and his team is looking pretty tough, especially with Infernape, which has 2 types super effective against us, but I came up with a strat that might work. He leads with Rapidash, as I lead with Monger, and I thought he'd use Hypnosis, so I had a Chesto Berry on us, but he went for Flame Charge before we took him out with Surf. Interesting. We need as little damage as possible for my plan, so I'm not liking that. In comes Lopunny next, which is fully EV trained in HP, and I'm not liking this thing either. I switch in Whiplash, who gets hit by High Jump Kick and then Fire Punch, then I get Reflect Up. Now that we can survive, I switch in Fury, but he gets a crit on Fire Punch. Oh no. This could be the end, but I have no choice. But then he misses High Jump Kick, so we can one-hit KO him with Aura Sphere. Unreal. I thought it was over, but our luck balanced out to the point where we should be. Steelix is then a one-hit with Aura Sphere as well, since it's Sheer Force, not Sturdy, and then Drifblim comes in. Now this thing has no attacking moves, so I switch in Patriot, who I taught Taunt, so after a Minimize and Burn, I use it. Now here's the key, I know his Infernape has a Focus Sash, which could end us because it guarantees a close combat on us somewhere. But here, with Drifblim immobile, I use Stealth Rock. Now I switch in Whiplash to get the Reflect Up once more, and then I switch in Jarvis, but with the taunt gone now, he uses Baton Pass, which passes the Minimize to Infernape. Oh no. Stealth Rock then hurts him, and it all comes down to if we land this after he hits a close combat, and we do, to smash him into the ground with Thunderbolt. Oh man. From there, Drifblim is easy pickings. We did it. Somehow we found a way to take on the biggest threat to our team. Let's go. Up next is Lucian, the Psychic-type trainer, and it's time for Pepper to shine once again. He leads with a Mr. Mime, which does have Light Screen and Reflect, but Pepper resists both Dazzling Gleam and Psychic, and both of his types are super effective against both of Mr. Mime's, so we can set up a million Quiver Dances. Okay, not quite that many. And sweep through his entire team with Stab super effective, Silver Powder boosted Bug Buzz, and we even outsped Alakazam, which I was kinda surprised about. Would you like some salt to go along with that pepper? It's time for the final battle, the champion, the bane of our existence, Cynthia. I theory crafted for what felt like an hour for this battle, and let's just say I was super nervous, especially after last time. This time, I tried to think about her battle differently. Not in terms of what I need to immediately do, but how I need our team to end up looking in the endgame to handle the big threats like Garchomp and Milotic. Let's see if it's of any use. I use the rest of our rare candies and go for it. She leads with Spiritomb, and this time I have nothing super effective against it, so I lead with Patriot, who I think will outspeed it. Because of this, I use Iron Head, and as if fate wished to return our luck, we do indeed flinch it, as I was hoping for, twice in a row. Her Citrus Berry activates, and then she hard switches all of a sudden into Milotic. Oh god. I send out Monger, Scald does little to us, and then I hit it with Grass Knot for some good damage as she can barely hurt us. She then hard switches again though, this time into Lucario, who Grass Knot does little on. I know I can't switch in anything to 2 hits in a row though, so I stay in, and she just goes for Nasty Plot, but Surf barely doesn't KO. She then hard switches into Gastrodon to absorb the Surf with Storm Drain. Oh man. But from there, Grass Knot does massive damage before it just goes for Rock Tomb. Weird. It does lower our speed, but I'm thinking we might just outspeed it still, and we do, taking it down with another attack. She sends Lucario back out, and after much deliberation, I know I can't switch anything in, so I have to sack Monger for the first death of the run. Definitely the latest first death that we've had though. From here I send in our own Lucario, who I know she outspeeds, but we have priority extreme speed which does enough to take him down. In comes Spiritomb next, and I go for Nasty Plot knowing it can't do too much on us and we need the power so she doesn't heal. Shadow Ball brings us below half, and then Flash Cannon does enough to take it down. Roserade then comes out, and I switch into Pepper, who tanks Shadow Ball well to half, and then I use Quiver Dance twice since our special defense also raises, but Psychic just barely doesn't KO, and then she uses a full restore. We hit it again down to the red, but then we survive the next Shadow Ball to take it out. Amazing. She sends in Milotic next and uses a full restore, and then Bug Buzz does only a third. Man, that thing is bulky. I have no choice though, so I let Pepper go to a Scald in the end. With her Milotic now low, I switch in Jarvis, who I knew I needed to reserve for this thing, and Thunderbolt just barely doesn't KO, but her own burn takes her down from the Flame Orb Marvel Scale combo. Oh man, now here's the key. I knew I needed to save our sturdy Pokemon at full health for Garchomp, which would sweep through our entire team otherwise, so Magnezone survives a 4-time super effective Stab Earthquake on 1 HP and hits a Tri-Attack, but no status, and then we get taken down. But this is it. I knew Whiplash was the key to all of this. He has Reflect, is immune to Earthquake, and her only other move is Dragon Claw, which we resist. After setting up, I'm able to slam it with a few Psychics, and we live on 62 HP before destroying her with one last attack. All with a sturdy, full health Bastiodon waiting in the back. Man oh man, it was all about that forethought, knowing what we needed for the end game and just managing the beginning effectively. What a fun run that was, our first Steel run, and our team ended up being pretty damn cool if you ask me. If you had fun with the run, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as it really does help a lot and grows our community. A huge thanks to my YouTube members and patrons who make these videos possible. If you'd like to support and get your name up here, the links are also down below. If you enjoyed, drop a like down below to help the video out, and leave a comment letting me know what kind of run we should do next, and I'll see you guys for our next challenge video. Welcome everyone, my name's Soph, and this is my attempt to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Black 2 with only Dragon-type Pokemon. If you've seen my videos before or other Mono-type hardcore Nuzlocks, you know the rules, but I'll put them up for reference if you want to pause and check them out. Now I'm gonna say this right off the bat, the Dragon-type has been the single most requested type by you guys for our hardcore Nuzlocks, and for good reason. It has